"You're coming to bed with me tonight." The mountain woman shocked the cowboy Wild West stories. The wind howled across the dry plains of Kestrel 9. Dust moved like ghosts over the cracked ground. The sky above was wide and pale, with two faint moons hanging low even during the day. It was not a kind world. It was a place where only the stubborn survived. Elias Vance rode slowly across the empty land. His coat was worn, his hat pulled low, and his eyes sharp. The horse he rode was not a real animal, but a biomechanical hybrid built to survive this planet. It moved with steady strength, its metal joints clicking softly under the skin-like surface. Elias was not just a cowboy. He had once been an orbital ranger, trained to handle things most people did not even believe were real. But that was long ago. Now he worked alone, taking jobs that others avoided. This time, the job was simple. A supply convoy had gone missing near the Iron Ridge Mountains. Simple jobs were often the most dangerous. Elias stopped at the edge of a high ridge and looked ahead. In the distance, the mountains rose like dark teeth from the earth. They were sharp, tall, and silent. No smoke, no movement, no sign of life. That was the problem. No one went into Iron Ridge, and no one came back. He took a slow breath and adjusted the rifle on his back. "Well," he muttered to himself, "guess that makes it my kind of place." He pushed forward. As the sun began to fall, the land changed. The air grew colder. The ground turned from dry dust to dark stone. Strange marks appeared on the rocks, long scratches, deep and uneven. Elias noticed them but said nothing. He had seen worse. His horse slowed down on its own. It sensed something. Elias felt it too, a quiet tension in the air, like something was watching. He reached for his sidearm but did not draw it yet. "Easy," he whispered. The silence grew heavier. Then, a sound. Fast. Too fast. Before Elias could react, something slammed into him from the side. He was thrown off his horse and hit the ground hard. His rifle was kicked away. His sidearm never left the holster. A figure stood over him. Tall, strong, and fast. Elias looked up, ready to fight, but then he stopped. It was a woman, but not like any woman he had seen before. She wore armor made from pieces of metal, and something else, something that looked alive. Parts of it moved slightly like it was breathing. Her arms were strong, her stance balanced like a trained fighter. Her eyes, they were not normal. One was human. The other glowed faintly with a cold blue light. Before Elias could speak, she pressed a blade to his throat. "You're coming with me," she said. Her voice was calm, firm, no fear. Elias blinked once. "That so?" he replied, keeping his tone steady. She did not smile. "You don't belong here," she said. "That means you're either lost or stupid." Elias gave a small shrug, even with the blade at his neck. "Bit of both, maybe." For a moment, nothing moved. Then she stepped back, but not far. "Get up," she ordered. Elias slowly stood. He noticed how easily she had taken him down. That was not luck. That was skill. And strength. Too much strength. She pointed toward the mountains. "You're coming to my camp tonight." Elias raised an eyebrow. "That a request?" "No." He almost smiled. They walked in silence. Elias followed her through narrow paths between rocks and steep slopes. The light faded quickly as the sun dropped behind the mountains. Soon, the only light came from the sky and the faint glow from her right eye. Elias studied her carefully. Her movements were precise, efficient, not wasted energy. Her armor, it was strange, not standard colony gear, not military. Alien. He had seen things like that before. That meant one thing: trouble. "What's your name?" Elias asked after a while. She did not answer at first. Then finally, "Mara." "Elias," he said, "though I guess you already knew I wasn't from around here." "I knew enough." They kept walking. After some time, they reached a hidden entrance between two large rocks. It was easy to miss unless you knew where to look. Mara stepped inside. Elias followed. The camp was not what he expected. It was built inside a natural cave, but it had been reinforced. Metal supports lined the walls. Strange devices were placed around the space. Some human, some clearly not. Soft blue light filled the area. There were weapons, tools, Supplies. This was not just a shelter. This was a base. Mara moved to one side and removed part of her arm armor. Under it, Elias saw something that made him pause. Her skin was not fully human. Thin lines of glowing material ran beneath it, like veins, but not natural ones. Alien tech merged into her body. Elias crossed his arms. "All right," he said slowly. "Now I'm curious." Mara glanced at him. "You should be careful with that." "With curiosity? With being alive." Elias chuckled softly. "Fair point." She turned back to her gear. "You came for the convoy," she said. Elias nodded. "Yeah, thought I'd find some wreckage. Maybe some survivors." "There are no survivors." The way she said it was flat. "Certain." Elias studied her face. "You sound like you've seen it happen." "I have." Silence filled the room again. Then Elias spoke. "What's out there?" Mara did not answer right away. Instead, she walked to the table and tapped the device. A small projection appeared in the air. It showed the mountains. Then, movement. Shapes. Fast. Too many. Elias's eyes narrowed. "Those aren't animals." "No," Mara said. "They're not." The shapes moved in patterns. Not random. Not wild. Organized. Hunting. Elias felt a familiar tension in his chest. The kind that came before a fight you might not win. He looked back at Mara. "And you've been dealing with this alone?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because no one else can." Elias frowned. "That's a bold claim." Mara stepped closer. Now he could see the glow in her eye more clearly. It was not just light. It was active, watching. "I survived something you didn't," she said quietly. "Something that changed me." Elias did not speak. He understood enough. This was not just a fight for land. This was something bigger. Something dangerous. Mara looked at him for a long moment. Then she said something that surprised him. "I need your help." Elias blinked. "That's new." "You were an orbital ranger." It was not a question. Elias stiffened slightly. "That was a long time ago." "It doesn't matter." She turned back to the projection. "They're changing, learning, growing." The shapes on the display moved faster, smarter. "They weren't like this before," she continued. "Something is controlling them now." Elias stepped closer. "How bad is it?" Mara's voice dropped. "Bad enough that if we do nothing, this planet won't belong to humans much longer." The cave felt colder suddenly. Elias took a slow breath. He had seen this before. Different world. Different enemy. Same story. Humanity on the edge. He looked at Mara again. At the woman who was no longer fully human. At the mountains that no one dared to enter. At the danger waiting in the dark. Then he spoke. "All right," he said. "Looks like I'm staying a little longer than I planned." Mara gave a small nod. "Good." The wind outside howled louder. Deep in the mountains, something moved. Something awake. And it was waiting. The night on Iron Ridge was cold and silent. Outside the cave, the wind moved like a warning. Inside, the soft blue lights hummed quietly, casting long shadows across the walls. Elias sat near the entrance, cleaning his rifle with calm, steady hands. But his mind was not calm. He kept thinking about the shapes in the projection. Too fast. Too organized. Not natural. Across the cave, Mara stood still. Her eyes were closed, but she was not sleeping. Thin lines of light under her skin pulsed slowly, like a second heartbeat. Elias noticed it again. That alien tech inside her. It wasn't just part of her body. It was active, watching, listening, maybe even thinking. "You always glow like that?" Elias asked quietly. Mara opened her eyes. The blue glow in one of them flickered. "Only when it's awake," she said. Elias frowned. "That doesn't sound good." "It isn't." She walked toward him and sat across from him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Elias leaned back slightly. "Start from the beginning," he said. "What happened here?" Mara looked at the ground. For the first time, her voice softened. "Years ago, this place wasn't like this. Back then, Iron Ridge was just another rough colony zone. Hard land, tough people, but still human. Mara had been part of a small settlement near the mountains. They were miners, workers, families trying to build a life. It was quiet, she said. Too quiet. Elias listened closely. Then one night, the sky broke. She paused. Elias raised an eyebrow. Sky broke. A ship, Mara explained. Not human. Not anything we had seen before. It came down fast. Burning. Loud enough to shake the ground. It crashed deep in the mountains. At first, people were curious. Then they were afraid. We sent a team to check it, Mara said. They never came back. More people went looking. Same result. Gone. Elias crossed his arms. Let me guess. That's when things got worse. Mara nodded. Things started appearing. Creatures. Not animals. Not machines. Something in between. They moved wrong, she said. Too smooth. Too fast. Like they didn't belong in this world. They attacked at night. Silent. Efficient. Whole groups disappeared. No bodies. No signs. Just empty space where people had been. Elias's jaw tightened. Classic first contact disaster, he muttered. Mara looked at him. You've seen this before. Something like it. She nodded slowly. We tried to leave. Tried to send signals. But nothing got out. The mountains blocked everything. Or something inside them did. Elias leaned forward slightly. And you, he asked, how did you survive? Mara did not answer right away. The glow under her skin grew brighter. Then she spoke. I didn't, she said quietly. The day her settlement fell was the last normal day she ever had. They came in daylight, she said. That was new. The creatures moved faster than before. Stronger. Smarter. They weren't just hunting anymore, she added. They were clearing the area. Elias felt a cold weight in his chest. That means planning, he said. Yes. Mara had tried to fight. Everyone had. But it was not enough. They broke through everything, she said. Walls. Doors. People. Her voice stayed calm, but Elias could see the memory behind her eyes. Pain. Loss. And then, he asked, I ran. Not out of fear. Out of instinct. She headed toward the crash site. I thought maybe if I reached the source, I could stop it. Elias gave a small shake of his head. Or die trying. Yes. When she reached the wreck, it was worse than she imagined. The ship was not dead. It was alive. Parts of it moved, shifted, grew. It wasn't a crash, she said. It was landing. Elias exhaled slowly. Yeah, that's never good. Inside the wreck, she found something. A core, a center, something powerful. And it saw me, Mara said. The glow in her eye flared slightly. It didn't attack, she continued. It reached out. Elias stiffened. Reached out how? Like it was trying to understand me, or use me. Mara stepped back, as if remembering the moment. I should have died there, she said. But you didn't. No. Instead, the alien system did something unexpected. It merged with her. Not fully, not cleanly, but enough. It changed me, she said. Saved her life. But at a cost. Elias looked at her arm again, at the glowing lines beneath her skin. And now you're part of it, he said. Yes. Silence filled the cave. The wind outside grew louder. Elias stood up and walked toward the projection table. He activated it again. The moving shapes appeared once more. These things, he said, they're connected to that ship? Yes. And to you? Mara hesitated. Sometimes, she admitted. Elias turned sharply. That's a problem. I know. Her voice was firm again. I fight it every day. Elias studied her carefully. You ever lose? Mara looked at him. For a moment, her glowing eye flickered in a strange way. Not yet. That was not the answer he wanted. A sudden sound cut through the cave. A sharp beep. Mara turned instantly. The devices along the wall lit up. Red signals flashed. They're moving, she said. Elias grabbed his rifle. How many? Mara checked the readings. Her expression darkened. Too many. The projection changed. Dots appeared across the mountain map. Dozens. Maybe more. and they were all heading in one direction. Where? Elias asked. Mara pointed. Her hand did not shake. Here, the cave. Elias let out a slow breath. Well, he said, guess they know you're home. Mara did not smile. They've never come this close before. Then something's changed. Yes. The ground beneath them gave a slight tremor. Elias felt it clearly. Tell me that's not normal, he said. It isn't. The tremor grew stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling. Mara's glowing eye brightened suddenly. Too bright. She grabbed the edge of the table. Elias stepped forward. What's wrong? Mara's voice came out strained. It's waking up. Elias frowned. What is? She looked at him, and for the first time, there was fear. The core. The mountain shook again. Stronger this time. Outside, a distant sound echoed. Deep, heavy, like something massive was moving underground. Elias tightened his grip on his rifle. All right, he said, voice steady. We've got incoming creatures, a waking alien system, and a mountain that wants to fall on us. He looked at Mara. Anything else I should know? Mara straightened slowly. Her expression returned to calm, but her glowing eye burned brighter than before. Yes, she said. Elias waited. She spoke one final sentence. They're not just hunting anymore. A pause. They're preparing. Elias nodded once. Then we better be faster. The lights flickered. The ground trembled again. And deep within Iron Ridge, something ancient, alien, and powerful was beginning to rise. The mountain did not stop shaking. Dust fell from the ceiling in small clouds. The walls groaned like something deep inside was pushing upward. The soft blue lights flickered again and again. Elias stood ready, rifle in hand. Mara was still, but something about her had changed. The glow under her skin was brighter now, not calm anymore. It moved faster, like it was reacting to something far below. It's getting stronger, she said. Elias glanced at her. The core? Yes. Another tremor hit the cave, this one stronger. Elias had to steady himself. Outside, a distant sound echoed again, low and heavy, like a giant heartbeat under the ground. Elias tightened his grip. All right, he said. We can't just sit here and wait. Mara nodded. They're coming. She tapped the control panel. The projection showed the moving creatures again. They were closer now, faster than before. They'll reach us in minutes, she said. Elias gave a small breath. Then we move now. Mara looked at him. You want to go toward the core? Elias met her gaze. That thing down there is calling the shots. If we don't deal with it, this doesn't end. Mara was silent for a moment. Then she nodded once. Agreed. They moved quickly. Mara grabbed weapons from the wall. 2 blades and a compact energy rifle. Elias checked his ammo and secured his gear. Before they left, Mara paused. She looked back at the cave. At her home, her safe place. Elias noticed. Not coming back? He asked. Mara shook her head, slightly. If we fail, there won't be anything to come back to. Elias gave a small nod. Then let's not fail. The night outside was darker than before. Clouds covered the sky. The wind screamed between the rocks. The mountains felt alive now, like they were breathing. Elias and Mara moved fast through narrow paths. Then, a sound. Close. Too close. Mara stopped instantly. They're here. Shapes moved between the rocks. Low. Fast. Eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Elias raised his rifle. Contacts, he said calmly. The first creature jumped. Elias fired. The shot echoed loudly. The creature dropped, but more came behind it. Mara moved like lightning. Her blades flashed in the dark, cutting through the air with sharp precision. She was fast, faster than any human should be. Elias covered her from behind, firing controlled shots. Left side, he called. Mara turned instantly, blocking an attack before it reached her. The creatures were different up close. Their bodies were smooth and hard, like metal mixed with flesh. Their movements were too perfect, too exact. They're learning, Elias said. Yes, Mara replied. One creature leaped toward Elias. He rolled to the side and fired again. It hit, but not enough. The creature kept moving. Not good, Elias muttered. Mara stepped in and finished it with a clean strike. They're stronger now, she said. Elias nodded. Then we hit harder. After a short but intense fight, the creatures pulled back, not defeated, just waiting. Elias lowered his rifle slowly. That's new, he said. They're not acting on instinct anymore, Mara said. They're thinking. Elias looked into the darkness. They're watching us. Mara nodded. Yes. A deep sound echoed again from the mountain. Louder this time. Closer. Elias exhaled. Yeah, we're definitely going the right way. They reached a steep path leading deeper into the mountains. The air changed. It felt heavy, charged. Mara slowed down. Her movements were not as smooth anymore. Elias noticed. You all right? He asked. She did not answer right away. The glow in her eye flickered. Then, it's calling me. Elias frowned. The core? Yes. Her voice sounded strained now, stronger than before. Elias stepped closer. Can you fight it? Mara clenched her fists. I have to. They continued forward. But with every step, Mara's condition worsened. The glowing lines under her skin pulsed faster. Her breathing grew uneven. Elias kept watching her. You start losing control, he said. You tell me. Mara gave a short, dry laugh. If I lose control, I might not be able to. Elias did not smile. Then I'll figure out. They entered a wide cavern. And there, they saw it. The wreck. It was massive, far larger than any ship Elias had seen before. It was not still. Parts of it moved slowly, like a living thing. Surfaces shifted. Structures grew and folded into each other. At the center, a deep glow pulsed. Bright, powerful, alive. Elias stared. Well, he said quietly, that's a problem. Mara stepped forward slowly. Her glowing eye burned bright now. It's stronger than before, she whispered. The ground trembled again. And then, a voice. Not from outside. Not from a speaker. From inside. Inside Mara. Elias turned sharply. Mara? She froze, her body stiff, her eyes wide. Then she spoke, but it was not her voice. You return. Elias raised his rifle instantly. Mara, fight it. Her hands shook. Her body trembled. I'm trying, she said, but her voice echoed strangely. The glow in her eye spread slightly. Elias took a step closer. Stay with me, he said firmly. Remember who you are. Mara dropped to one knee. The voice returned. You are part of U.S. Elias shook his head. No, he said. She's not. He moved closer. Risky. Very risky. But he did not stop. Mara, he shouted. Listen to me. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the glow flickered, weakened. Mara gasped. I'm still here. Elias let out a slow breath. Good. Stay that way. The massive structure in front of them shifted again. The glowing core pulsed brighter. And then the ground opened slightly. A path, leading down, inviting. Mara looked at it. It wants us to go inside. Elias nodded slowly. Of course it does. He checked his weapon. You think it's a trap? Yes. Good. Elias said, then we're ready. Mara almost smiled. They moved toward the opening. Step by step, the air grew warmer, stranger. The walls of the passage were not stone anymore. They were smooth, organic, alive. Elias touched one briefly. It reacted, a slight movement. He pulled his hand back. Yeah, I don't like this place. Mara said nothing. She was focused, fighting something inside her. They reached a large chamber. At the center, the core, bright, massive, powerful. It pulsed like a heart. Elias stared at it. That's it, he said. Mara nodded. Yes. The voice returned. Stronger now. You cannot stop this. Elias stepped forward. Watch me. The light flared. The ground shook violently. Around them, shapes began to form. Creatures, many of them, guarding the core. Mara raised her weapons. Elias stood beside her, outnumbered, outmatched. but not afraid. Elias spoke quietly. Still with me? Mara took a deep breath. Yes. He nodded. Good. He looked at the glowing core, at the impossible enemy in front of them. Then he smiled slightly. Because humanity doesn't back down. The creatures moved. The fight was about to begin. And deep within Iron Ridge, the final battle had started. The chamber shook as the creatures rushed forward. Dozens of them. Fast. Silent. Deadly. Elias did not wait. He fired first. His rifle flashed, and the first line of creatures dropped. But more came behind them, climbing over the fallen without slowing down. They don't stop, Elias said. They don't need to, Mara replied. She moved ahead. Her blades cut through the air with perfect speed. Every strike was clean, every movement sharp. But this time, the creatures were stronger. One of them blocked her strike. That had never happened before. Mara stepped back quickly. They've adapted again, she said. Elias gritted his teeth. Of course they have. A creature leaped toward him. He fired twice. It still reached him. Elias barely rolled out of the way as it slammed into the ground where he had stood. Yeah, he muttered. Definitely stronger. Mara turned, cutting down 2 more, but her movements were slower now. The glow under her skin was unstable. Flickering. Fighting. The voice returned. You are failing. Mara winced. Elias noticed immediately. Mara, I'm fine, she said, but she wasn't. The core pulsed brighter. The creatures grew more aggressive. The chamber itself seemed to react, walls shifting slightly, closing in. Elias took a quick look around. Too many enemies. Too little space. This isn't just a fight, he said. It's trying to overwhelm us. Yes, Mara replied. Then we change the fight. Elias backed up toward the edge of the chamber. He quickly opened a small device on his belt. Mara noticed. What are you doing? Old ranger trick. Elias said. Not pretty, but it works. He started setting small charges along the ground and near the walls. Mara understood. You want to bring this place down? Not the whole mountain. Elias said. Just enough to break its system. The creatures kept coming. Mara held them back while Elias worked. But every second, she grew weaker. The glow in her eyes spread further. Her voice came out strained. It's getting inside. Elias stopped for a moment, looked at her. Then don't let it, he said firmly. Mara shook her head. You don't understand. It's not just controlling them. She looked at the core. It's trying to take me back. Elias tightened his grip on the detonator. Not happening. The voice filled the chamber again, louder than before. You belong to US. Mara dropped to one knee. Her hands shook. Her blades fell from her grip. Elias moved instantly, covering her. Stay down, he said. The creature slowed. Not attacking now. Watching. Waiting. Elias realized something. They're not trying to kill us anymore, he said. They're trying to turn you. Mara struggled to breathe. Yes. The glow in her body spread further. Her human eye began to dim slightly. Elias stepped closer. Mara, listen to me. She looked up. Barely. You're still you, he said. They didn't make you. You survived them. The core pulsed. Stronger. The voice returned. Resistance is useless. Elias shook his head. No, he said. You made one mistake. Silence. Even the creatures paused. Elias took a step forward. You think everything follows logic, control, perfect systems. He pointed at himself. We don't. Another step. We break rules. Another. We do the impossible. He looked at Mara, and we don't give up on our own. Mara's hand moved slightly. Her fingers twitched. The glow flickered. The voice rose again. You cannot win. Elias smiled slightly. Maybe not, he said, but we don't need to win your way. He pressed the final charge into place. Then stepped back. Mara looked at him. What are you doing? Something unpredictable, Elias said. He held up the detonator. This system of yours, it's smart. It adapts. It learns. He pointed at the core. But it still has limits. Mara's voice was weak. What limits? Elias took a deep breath. It doesn't understand sacrifice. The creatures move again. Faster now. The core glowed brighter. The chamber shook violently. Mara felt the pull again. Stronger. Overwhelming. Her body started to rise against her will. Elias saw it. Time was running out. "Mara!" he shouted. "Now!" For a second, nothing happened. Then, Mara screamed, not in fear, in defiance. The glow in her eyes snapped back. Her hand reached out. She grabbed one of her blades and drove it into the ground. The shock broke the connection. Just enough. "I'm still here," she shouted. Elias grinned. "That's all we need." He slammed the detonator. Nothing happened. For one long second. Silence. Then, the charges exploded. One after another. A chain reaction. The walls cracked. The floor split. Energy surged through the chamber in wild bursts. The core flickered. Unstable. The creatures panicked. Their movements broke. Uncoordinated. The system was failing. Elias grabbed Mara's arm. "Move!" They ran. The chamber collapsed behind them. The ground shook harder than ever before. The entire structure began to break apart. The core pulsed wildly. Then, a final burst of light, blinding, and everything went dark. When Elias opened his eyes, the world was quiet. Too quiet. He lay on cold stone. The air was still. No movement. No sound. He pushed himself up slowly. "Mara," he called. No answer. He looked around. The chamber was gone. The structure had collapsed into rubble. The glow was gone. The creatures, gone. Elias stood slowly. "Mara!" A faint sound. Behind him. He turned. She was there, lying near a broken wall. Still, Elias rushed to her side. "Mara!" He checked her breathing. Slow. But there. Relief hit him hard. "You're not getting out of this that easy," he muttered. Hours later, the first light of morning reached Iron Ridge. The mountains were quiet again. No movement. No creatures. No strange sounds. Just wind and silence. Elias sat near the edge of a ridge. Mara rested nearby, still recovering. Her glow was faint now. Controlled. Stable. Different. She opened her eyes slowly. Elias noticed. "Welcome back," he said. Mara looked around. The mountains. The sky. The silence. "It's over?" she asked. Elias nodded. "Yeah," he said. "Looks like it." She sat up slowly. Her movements were weaker now. More human. She looked at her hands. The glow was still there, but calmer. "I can still feel it," she said. Elias shrugged slightly. "Guess some things don't go away." Mara looked at him. "Why didn't you leave?" she asked. "You could have—" Elias leaned back slightly. "Yeah," he said, "but that's not how we work." She tilted her head. "We." Elias smiled faintly. "Humans." Days later, word began to spread. The Iron Ridge Mountains were safe again. Slowly, carefully, settlers returned. They found no creatures. No threat. Just broken rock and quiet land. Some said it was luck. Others said it was fate. But a few knew the truth. Sometimes, at the edge of the mountains, two figures could be seen. A man in a worn coat, and a woman with a faint glow in her eyes. Watching, guarding. Not heroes. Not legends. Just human. Still standing. Final line, HFY Core. The alien system was perfect, but humanity never needed to be perfect. It only needed one thing. The will to stand, fight, and never surrender.